Today, in today's discussion, we will talk about reconciliation of cost accounting and financial accounts. What it means is that when you prepare the accounts on the basis of non-integral system of accounting, we prepare profit and loss account, we calculate the profit and loss account in the cost books, we calculate the profit and loss in the financial accounts separately. So what we find that the profit shown in the two books, that is the cost books and the financial books, it shows the different amount of profit or the loss, as the case may be. The question is why this different exists, why the profit or the loss figure is different in different sets of books. In your financial accounting, you must have studied reconciliation of cash book and the passbook, or you might have gone through this term, reconciliation of passbook and the cash book. In your day-to-day life, like when you prepare your cash books, you immediately deposit the check and write it in your cash book, then the money is being deposited in the bank column of the cash book. You deposit the money, means it increases the balance of the cash in your cash book. When I say cash, means cash or bank. But if on the same day, if you get your passbook updated or if you see the bank passbook, you will not find the credit balance in your account of the amount that you have deposited in your bank. The reason being that it takes 1 or 2 days in check being honored by the other bank on which the check has been drawn. So if you deposit today your check in the cash book, you make the entry immediately, but in your passbook this amount will reflect on the next day or next to next day when the amount will be credited in your account. So the cash book and the passbook balance will show different amount of cash balance. Similarly, here in the cost books and the financial books, there are various reasons. I'll be just talking of these reasons because of which the profit shown in the cost books and the financial books is different. So what we require to have reconciliation of cost profits and the financial profits. Reconciliation means we have to match that why there is a difference between the cost books and the financial books, and we match it. So this is called reconciliation of cost and financial accounts. So when cost accounts and financial accounts are separately maintained in two different sets of books, two profit and loss accounts will be prepared. One for costing and other for financial books, which I have just talked about. The profit or loss shown by costing books may not agree with the profit shown by the financial books. Means the profit in the two books will be different or can be different or may be different in two different sets of books. Therefore, it becomes necessary that profit or loss shown by the two sets of accounts is reconciled. Reconciled means it should be matched, that why this difference is taken away, because of which transactions this is different, the profit is different. When I say profit, means loss also, there may be loss in the business also. So it is important to note that the question of reconciliation of cost and financial accounts arises only under non-integral system, when cost accounts are kept independent of financial accounts. As I said in the beginning of my lecture, there are two systems of accounting, integral system of accounting and the non-integral system of accounting. This difference in the profit will be shown when you will follow the non-integral system of accounting, that is, you are preparing the two books separately. But in the integral system of accounting, you don't keep two different sets of books. However, under the integral accounts, since cost and financial accounts are integrated into one set of books and only the common profit and loss account is prepared, the need for reconciliation does not arise. That is, in the integral system, the reconciliation is not required. Only in the non-integral system, the reconciliation is required. Now the question is, why there is a need for reconciliation? Reconciliation reveals the reason for difference in the profit or loss between cost and financial accounts. That is, you will know that because of which transactions or which transactions affects the profit or loss of the two books. There are certain transactions which are shown only in the profit and loss account. There are certain transactions which are shown only in the cost books, right? So because of these reasons, there is a need of reconciliation. It also helps in checking the arithmetical accuracy of the costing data. In other words, reconciliation enables to test the reliability of cost accounts. Difference in the profit or loss between cost and financial accounts may arise due to the following reasons. That now let's understand, this is very important part of this chapter, this topic, that why there is a difference in the cost profits and the financial profits. So what if you understand it clearly, that these are the reasons because of which the profit and the loss under two books is different, it will be very easy for you to reconcile the two books. So there are certain items which are shown only in the financial accounts. What it means is that these items which I am going to tell you just now, they are not being shown in the cost books, they are shown only in the financial books. So there are a number of items which appear in the financial accounts and does not appear in the cost accounts. While reconciliation, any item under this category must be considered. So these items are classified in three categories. One, purely financial charges. Purely financial charges means the items which are shown only in the financial books, they are not being shown. When I am saying item transactions, it means that it is on the expenses side, right? So these expenses or these losses are shown only in the financial books. They are not being shown in the cost books. The very nature of the cost book does not allow these expenses to appear in the cost books. But on the other hand, we show these expenses as expense in the profit and loss account in the financial books. Like loss on sale of capital assets. As you know, there are two types of expenses in the business. One is called capital expenses, the other is called revenue expenses. Revenue expenses are of recurring nature. The expense which you incur on material, labor and all these are called revenue expenses. But the expense which you incurred for acquiring an asset which will have a long use, like say you buy machinery, plant and machinery, and when the plant and machinery is being purchased, it is not being shown as a expense, it is shown as an asset. It is a capital asset. So if you dispose of that capital asset and you dispose of that capital asset below the book value, you make a loss of this. And this loss is being shown in the financial books. It is not being shown in the cost books. Like supposing you have a machinery which book value is, whose book value is rupees 1 lakh. After depreciating, the book value is 1 lakh rupees. And you want to replace this machinery and you change this machinery, you dispose of this machinery for say 80,000 rupees. In the balance sheet, the value of the machinery is 1 lakh rupees, but you are disposing of that asset because you feel that you want to buy an updated machine, you want to buy a new machine, and you dispose it off. So 20,000 rupees loss which you incur on disposing of this machine is a capital loss. This capital loss will be shown in the financial books only. It is not being shown in the cost books. So obviously the profit in the two books will differ. Losses on sale of investments. Many of the companies do invest in stocks, shares, debentures and all these different type of assets. So if this investment is being sold and it is being sold at below the price that is being shown in the books, you incur loss. So whatever the loss that is being incurred on the selling of this investment, that is a financial loss. This loss is not being shown in the cost books, it is shown only in the financial books. Similarly, expenses of company's transfer office. Suppose you are changing your registered office or you are changing your office, and for change of office, there are a lot of expenditure that you incur for the transfer of office. If any expenses that takes place because of this reason, it is only shown in the financial books, not being shown in the cost books. So obviously the profit will differ in the two books. Interest on bank loans and mortgage, etc. You have borrowed a capital, you have borrowed a bank loan, and on that bank loan, suppose a loan of 1 crore rupees, you are paying an annual interest of 8 lakh rupees per annum. So the interest which you are paying, it is only a financial charges, it is not a cost book charge, so you will not show it in the cost book, you will show only in the financial books. So the loss, so expenses or the interest that you show on the bank loan, that will only be shown in the financial books. So obviously the profit in the two books will differ. Fines and penalties, right? Sometimes certain fines and penalties are being imposed on a company because of one reason or the other. So these fines and penalties are only financial charges. Damages payable at law. Under the law, some damages are being imposed by the court, by or some other agency. That is only a financial expense, not in the cost accounts. Amount written off on goodwill, discount and debentures, preliminary expenses written off. Means if you have purchased goodwill, if you have purchased a running business and you have paid some amount on account of goodwill for purchasing this running business, you have acquired some business, and for acquiring the business certain amount has been paid for goodwill, and this goodwill amount which you have paid for acquiring this business, what you do normally, over a period of time you write off this goodwill value, goodwill amount which you have paid for acquiring this business from the books. So every year part of the goodwill amount you write off and you show it in your profit and loss account. Similarly, if you issue debentures on discount, right, so the discount amount you gradually charge to the profit and loss account over a period of time. So this is discount on debentures. In the same manner, preliminary expenses, I hope you understand, preliminary expenses are those expenses which are being incurred before incorporation of a company, right? When the company is being formed, at the time of before the formation of the company, before the company is being registered in its own name, where various expenses are being incurred, right? So these preliminary expenses are being shown in the balance sheet as an asset, but gradually over a period of time these preliminary expenses are being written off. So these all three which I have just talked about, whether it is goodwill written off, whether it is discount on debentures, whether it is preliminary expenses written off, right? So these expenses are only the financial expenses, financial charges not being shown in the books. So obviously the profit in the two books will differ. Losses due to theft, pilferage, etc., right? Some theft has taken place, pilferage takes place, right? So this is being shown only in the financial books. Now, after talking of these financial charges, there are certain, now I was talking up till now, I was talking of the debit side of the profit and loss account, that is certain expenses that you show, because of which the profit under the financial books get reduced, compared to cost books, it falls. Now similarly, there are certain incomes which you show only in the profit and loss account, financial books. You don't show these incomes in the cost books, like profit arising from the sale of capital assets and investment. When I was talking of financial charges, I said loss from sale of capital assets and investment. Similarly, when you sell your investments, when you sell your capital assets like machinery, there may be profit. You may sell this machinery above the book value. The book value of the machine is 1 lakh, but you dispose of it in the market. Somebody, needy person, you need that machine and it pays 1,50,000 rupees. So the 50,000 profit which you earn, that you show only in the financial profit and loss account, right? So profit arising from sale of capital assets, investment, rent receivable, right? So the rent which you receive, part of the property you have let it out. So this rent receivable is only a financial income. It is not being shown in the cost accounts. Dividend and interest received on investments. You had made certain investment. On these investments, the regular dividend you are getting from the companies, or you are getting some interest on investments, right? So these investments and dividend is a financial income. It is not a cost book income. Interest received on bank deposits, transfer fee receipts. So if you pay any bank charges, right, I said interest on bank loan is shown in the financial books. It is not being shown in the cost book. Similarly, interest received on bank deposits is only shown in the financial books. Transfer fee received. So these are the financial incomes. The third aspect which is being shown in the financial books is only appropriation of profit. See, friends, you should be very clear that one is profit and loss account, which shows the revenue and the expenses. The other is how this profit which the firm has earned in a period of time, how this profit will be distributed. Like say in corporate form of organization, company form of organization, part of the profit is distributed as dividend, part is being transferred to the reserves, some amount of charitable donation you might have given during the year, income tax is being paid, every company is subject to corporate tax, right? So you pay income tax, any other item which appears in the profit and loss appropriation account. So all these items, dividend, transfer of reserves, charitable donation, income tax, and all these items are the part and the parcel of profit and loss appropriation account. You must be able to distinguish between profit and loss appropriation account and profit and loss account. So this appropriation account is nothing but the distribution of profits. So this is basically these are all the items which you can see on the screen. These are all items that is being appropriation of profit, that does not constitutes the items of cost books, that constitutes the item of only financial books, right? So these are the three items on the basically financial books. There are being, whether it is financial income, whether it is financial expenses, whether it is appropriation of profit. So because of these various expenses, incomes or appropriation of profit, the profit under the two books will differ. The second important item which makes the distinction between this cost books and the profit is, there are few items which are included in cost accounts and not included in financial accounts, right? So there are certain items which are shown only in the cost books. Up till now I was saying that there are certain items which are shown in the financial books only. Now I am saying there are certain items which are shown only in the cost accounts, like notional rent. We also call it imputed rent, right? A charge in lieu of rent when premises are owned and no rent is payable. Supposing you have your own building in which you are running your factory. Had you borrowed this building on rent, you would have been paying 1 lakh rupees rent per annum. So this rent which you would have been paying, had you taken it on rental basis, since you are not paying it, you will not show in the financial books, because in the financial books you only show those expenses which you actually pay, which you actually incur, or which is payable. But in cost books, in the cost accounting, even if you are not paying for it, but that asset or that thing which you are using, it has a value. So imputed value of that you will calculate while calculating in the costing. The idea is so that while cost accounting you can find out what is the actual, or I will say realistic cost of producing this product. So imputed rent or notional rent, I would say, is being shown in the cost books. It is not being shown in the financial books. I hope you are understanding what is this imputed rent or imputed interest. I'll be talking interest also. So rent means if you own a building and you are not paying rent on it, you will not show this rental amount in the financial books. But this notional rent means, had you taken this building on rent, what rent you would have been paying, what is the notional rent of it, is being shown in the cost books. The idea is so that we can find out the right amount of cost. Interest on capital employed but not actually paid, the notional cost of employed capital. Suppose you have invested 1 crore rupees of capital, your own capital, in the business, on which you are not paying any interest. Had you taken this money as loan from a bank, you would have been paying 8% rate of interest. So it means 8 lakh rupees per annum is the interest cost of this 1 lakh capital employed which you have employed in the business. Since you are not paying it, it is your own capital, you are an entrepreneur and you are not paying. Being an entrepreneur, it is your sole proprietorship firm and you are not paying any interest on your capital. But in the financial books you will not show the interest on capital, but in the cost books this notional interest or imputed interest you will show in order to find out the right amount of cost of production, right? So this is only an item which is expense, I would say, which is, or a charge which is shown only in the cost books. Depreciation on fully depreciated assets in use. You are using an asset, say machinery. At the time of charging the depreciation, you had calculated that the 10-year is the life of this machine, and on a 1 crore rupee machinery you are charging, say, if you're using straight line method, you're charging 10 lakh rupees depreciation every year. After 10 years, the book value becomes 0, and still you feel that this machinery is still usable, you can work on it, right? So this, since the book value is 0, the depreciation on this machinery will not be shown in the financial books, but in the cost books you will calculate you will find out that how much depreciation had this machine been taken from outside or lease or on any other basis, what amount of depreciation we would have been incurring or what amount of lease rent we would have been paying it, right? So this depreciation value you charge in the cost book, which you does not show in the financial books. The third broad reason is under absorption and over absorption of overheads. If you recollect, when we were discussing about overhead, I said in cost accounting, overhead are being absorbed as a predetermined rate. It may be machine hour rate, which is very popular rate. It may be direct wages rate. It may be any basis. But you charge the overhead expenses in cost accounting on a predetermined basis. Predetermined basis means that basis, it like most popular basis is machine hour rate. So supposing machine hour rate is 10 rupees per hour. If your machine works for 100 hours, you will be charging 1000 rupees as overheads in your books. But actually the overhead incurred during the period may be more than 1000, it may be less than 1000 rupees. So there is always a reason, or there can be an under absorption or over absorption of overheads. Means either the overhead incurred may be more than what you have observed, right, absorbed, or it may be more than what you have absorbed, right? So this is the reason of this difference between the difference in the profit of the cost books and the financial books. So this may give rise to difference between the overhead absorbed in cost and actual overhead cost incurred. Such difference may be written off in costing profit and loss account. However, when under over-absorbed overhead are not written off in costing profit and loss account, it results in the amount recovered in cost accounts being different from the actual amount shown in the financial books. I've just explained this, right? So, but in such a case, it becomes necessary to take into account this under or over-absorption while reconciling the two books. The next other reason of the difference in the profit shown in the cost books and the financial books is difference in the stock valuation. If you recollect, while discussing about the material topic, we discussed this point that in cost accounting there are various methods of inventory valuation like LIFO, FIFO, weighted average method, simple average method. There are various methods of stock valuation by which you value the stock in the cost accounting. But in the financial accounting, you value the inventory on the basis of cost price or market price, whichever is less, right? So what you observe is that the inventory valuation method in cost accounting is different, inventory valuation method in the financial books is different, right? So because of this difference in the valuation, the profit and the loss shown in the two books will be different. Similarly, different charges of depreciation. In cost accounting, you charge depreciation or either on the number of hours machine used or on any other basis which you find suitable or on the base of units produced. But in financial accounts, you charge depreciation on the basis of either straight line method, either diminishing balance method. There are various methods on the basis of which you charge depreciation in the financial books. More popularly, the straight line method and the diminishing balance method. But in cost books, you charge in a different way, that is, you charge either on the machine hour rate basis or on the basis of units produced. So this will also cause the difference in the profit shown in the two books. So friends, these are the various reasons of the profit being different in the cost books and the financial books. Once you understand these reasons, I am sure you will be able to reconcile the two books quite easily. Thank you very much for today's lecture. Thank you.